David had always believed in Amaka from their early days in Lagos, struggling through university to dreaming of a better future together. Their love was built on trust, sacrifice, and shared ambitions. So, when Amaka received an opportunity to travel abroad for a business venture, David did not hesitate. He gathered every money he had saved, even giving her half of it, just so she could chase their dream. It was never just about her, it was about them. Go and succeed, my love, he had told her on the day of her departure, holding her hand tightly. We'll build our future together. Tears filled Amaka's eyes as she hugged him. She promised she would return, and they would finally have the life they had always dreamed of. At first, things were tough for Amaka abroad. She struggled to adjust, working tirelessly while trying to find her space in a foreign land. David remained her greatest supporter, always sending words of encouragement, reminding her that she was destined for greatness. And then, everything changed. She got a job at a big company. The salary was more than she had ever imagined, and the lifestyle that came with it was intoxicating. Slowly, her world expanded. She started having exclusive dinners, living in big apartments, and having conversations with people who spoke of investments and vacations in different countries. She had transformed.
But with her transformation came a shocking realization.
Whenever she thought about David, something inside her hesitated. His messages, once a source of comfort, now felt like distant echoes from a life she had outgrown. His words of love and longing now seemed like a burden rather than the anchor they once were. One evening, as she sat in her elegantly furnished apartment, looking at old photos of them together, she felt something shift inside her. The boy who had once been her world, the one who had sacrificed for her dreams, now seemed different, smaller, distant, and wrong. She no longer saw him as a partner, but as a reminder of the past, a past she was no longer willing to carry into her new life. David, on the other hand, never stopped believing in her. Even when her replies became shorter, even when the warmth in her words faded, he told himself he was just busy. He worked harder too, saving for their future, eagerly waiting for the day she would return. But that day never came. Instead, what came was silence, messages left unread, calls unanswered. Weeks turned into months, and David began to understand what was happening. She wasn't busy, she was avoiding him, or worse. One day, a mutual friend who had traveled to the same country as Amaka sent him a message. David, I think you should move on. Amaka is different now. She says you're not in her class anymore. David stared at those words, numb. Not in her class? He let the words sink, feeling every bit of the betrayal, the heartbreak, the realization that the woman he had loved, the woman he had sacrificed for, now saw him as beneath her. But grief can make you stronger. Instead of drowning in sorrow, David made a decision. If she had outgrown him, he too would outgrow her. Months turned into years. David worked relentlessly, building his own business from scratch. He got a scholarship to study business management in Canada, using the same determination that once fueled his love for Amaka to now fuel his ambition. The boy she had left behind was no longer the same man. One evening, as he sat in a rooftop cafe overlooking the city skyline, A message popped up on his phone. It was from an old familiar number, Amaka. The message was simple. David, I made a mistake. David took a deep breath, just staring at the words. Before, they would have meant everything to him. Before, he would have given anything to hear her say them, but not anymore. This is the moral of the story. Never forget the people who stood by you when you had nothing.